Day. It's the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I know, I still have my, I still have my Christmas decorations up. I should take those down. But yeah, Power Plant Day is the newest, hottest, coolest holiday for the Iranian people. This is the day when you might lose all your electricity. Yay! You might lose a bunch of bridges and transmission lines and rail lines and streets and highways and overpasses. And yay! Not sure if it's going to happen, though. Not sure if this isn't just someone trying to mash the gas to make a deal happen. This is very much following a businessman's playbook. And it's not like, well, it's not the same thing as cutting a deal, a real estate deal, is negotiating a deal to end a war. It kind of is. It really is, because when you read books on business, when you read books on how to negotiate a deal or how to get the best deal possible or how to go in and because, I read stuff like that for my own self-interest. I have to negotiate deals. You have to negotiate deals. And in fact, it's such an overlap. Like the word in Spanish for business is negocios, negotiations. That's what business is. I guess for a lot of you, that was new information. But it really is the same. You have to come to a table with two people who have a different set of priorities. They both want something out of the deal. And you have to set up a scenario where the guy on the other side of the table doesn't feel like he can walk away. So what do? You create a pain point before that. So this guy is now negotiating under duress. He's going to have to make a deal. And all he needs to do to walk away from that table feeling like a winner is to see you give something up. It's more important than him gaining something out of the deal. And so that's the same thing you do when you're buying a piece of property or when you're ending a war. You got to come across the table and you got to come up with a deal. And he's following his playbook. Now, that makes me think that he's not 100% sure that there's going to be the civilizational erasure of the Iranian regime. But you have to be able to do that if you're going to make the negotiation. Bluffs don't work if the other side knows their bluffs. In fact, bluffs don't work, period, because you have to be able to follow through on your bluff. And I guess if they don't come up with a deal tonight, what is it? Power Plant Day? Power Plant Day happens overnight tonight. They're going to be ticked, but they're going to want to make a deal even worse. So I've also found a new little trick here to help make it more fun. Donald Trump made a very important, in the history books, this may be one of the illustrations. They stick pictures in with the text. This may be one of the pictures in the text. It's not a tweet. It was on Truth Social. And instead of me reading it to you, I find it funny when very serious, ominous, dangerous, threatening tweets are read by a cute little news anchor from Fox.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world, 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
Okay, so now we're 5 hours away from that deadline. And the sentence in the middle was the most important part. Maybe a miracle can happen. Maybe a deal can happen. So what does that tell you? If he's following the business playbook, I've read Art of the Deal. You should probably read it too, or just there's a lot of books that actually follow the exact same negotiating advice here. He wants to make a deal more than he wants to blow up those power plants. You have to understand that, right? I know you don't think that he's a bloodthirsty, foaming at the mouth, literally Hitler madman that just enjoys killing people. You got to think he would much rather have a deal. So then the other question becomes, what does he get? What can he get to make him not follow through with Power Plant Day bombings, to make him be able to turn away from that table and feel like he got a good deal? He's got to be able to end the war and get behind the podium and tell you he got blank. So that's where we're at. The other tweet that is pretty circumstantial right now, this was the one from 2 days ago about the Straits of Hormuz. Again, in a cute news anchor voice.
Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the expletive straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump.
What is that?
You crazy bastards.
That's got to be in a promo. Garrett, mark that. That's gonna be Mark Lee Van Camp and Robbins promo.
You crazy bastards.
Maybe a Parker, a James Show promo. That'd be good. So we have all that going on. I think he wants to make a deal. I don't think he even knows yet if he's going to go through with the bombings. But you got to think that someone over there is probably trying to talk. And you just got to hope that at some point you have killed enough of these guys that run around in bathrobes that you're going to get to a guy that actually wears blue jeans. You're going to get to a guy that wears regular slacks. I mean, God forbid, maybe a pair of Dockers. You know, because that's what we're looking for in the Iranian leadership. I don't have to get all the nuances and policy preferences I like. He doesn't have to be, a libertarian, a Ron Paul type. I just want him to shop at Old Navy, right? Can you not dress like a Jedi? These are I have really low expectations. I have really low goals. But the only thing I can think that would really be at stake here is the uranium. They don't want to give it up. That's their last bargaining chip. And you know that if they do give it up, Trump's going to run around and rub it in their face, and they're going to look like fools in front of the rest of the world. So I think if you're hoping for the uranium, I don't know. I doubt that's it. But all we need is something to happen at that table, some exchange, just a couple of sentences to go back and forth, and they agree to. We get a handshake, and both sides can walk away from that table feeling like they got ahead. Because I don't think Trump wants to see the Iranian civilization die tonight. That's just that's a huge statement. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Yesterday in Budapest, Hungary, your Vice President J.D. Vance was talking about some of Iran's options, and Trump actually had a phone call this morning with Brett Baer from Fox News, and he talked about it right before the James Show. I'll give you clips and updates and all that good stuff. On Power Plant Day, is this the last day of Iran being a thing? I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Happy Power Plant Day. Did you get the day off from work for Power Plant Day? I still have to be here. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. You're home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. And, the bad thing about Power Plant Day is we don't have any good carols yet. I don't know. Maybe I could play Power Station or Tower of Power. But, I mean, is there any power plant themed songs out there? Send me an email, james at WBAP.com, or Facebook message. Because, look, yeah, thank you very much, Garrett. My next guest, Larry Brock. He's on for two reasons. Number one, we always like to honor a local January 6th political prisoner who got jailed and put in solitary confinement for the crime of walking through an open door in the People's House. But also, he's a U.S. Air Force veteran, and so I'm sure he has some interesting insights into what's happening in Iran. Welcome back, Larry. How's it going? Okay, so let's talk about Power Plant Day. Right now, when we say that Trump says we're going to be bombing all kinds of bridges and power plants and transmission lines and things like that, who does that? Is that the Army? Is that the Air Force? Is that Navy planes, like Maverick and Top Gun? Who actually gets to do the bombing? Bro, I only recognize about four of those planes. I have no idea what you're talking about. Those are the ones that look like a big Tostito, right? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the rescue that happened on Easter morning before sunrise. We ran in a whole lot of aircraft. A couple of them landed, but we didn't think they would be able to take off. Explain that. Well, if why are we taking planes that can land and not take off? And didn't we know that was going to happen to begin with? Or, because a lot of people don't seem surprised by that. We're in a hurry. Ah, Now, I'm still kind of stuck on something you described earlier, where you said maybe the C-130s that landed had some disassembled helicopters in them. They drug out the parts and assembled the helicopters on site. All right, we're talking with January 6th political prisoner, U.S. Air Force veteran Larry Brock. So, Larry, let's talk about the power plant day. If they have human shields at these power plants, if they have women that are lined up on the bridge, is there something in the code of conduct that says we're not going to shoot it or bomb it? Sure. You call it Justinian? What a Okay. Well, that nice Roman reference there. Appreciate that. All right. Well, keep an eye on Power Plant Day. We may have to talk to you again soon. Hey, are you running for office or anything these days? You got anything to promote? I just took up a bunch of your time. Oh, wait a second. Wasn't he on the official Rhino list that me and Brian Harrison put together? Oh, yeah. All right. Well, damn it, Larry. Let's try again in 2 years. Thank you very much. January 6th political prisoner, Air Force veteran, Larry Brock on The James Show. Coming up next, you'll hear from JD Vance, who is in Budapest talking about Iran's options. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Happy Power Plant Day from the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. It's Power Plant Day. Well, at least it is in Iran. I was asking if there's any Power Plant Day, any Power Plant themed songs, so we would have Power Plant Day carols like we have Christmas carols and we have Halloween songs and whatnot. Rick in Past Christian said, Wichita Lineman. Oh, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that song. That does sound vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure if I've ever heard that. I was thinking from, my generation. I'm a Gen Xer here, and this was ridiculously big when I was in middle school. This is kind of a Power Plant Day theme song. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. Not. Garrett is recommending a Billy Joel song. Does it have power in the title? The highlights of industrial life? Nah, lame. I don't know. I might check it out on the break. That's all I got. I know it's not really that much, is it? All right. JD Vance was in Budapest, Hungary. I don't know if he was in the Buda part or the Pest Park, but he was talking about Iran's options.
As the president has said, very shortly this war is going to conclude. And I think the nature of the conclusion is ultimately up to the Iranians. I think there really are two pathways, and I'm oversimplifying this a little bit, but I think pathway one is where the Iranians decide they're going to be a normal country. They're not going to fund terrorism anymore. They're going to be part of the world system of commerce and exchange. And that's going to mean much better things for them economically. It's going to mean better things for the peace and safety of the world.
I don't know if he's going to do it. I don't know. There's a whole lot of questions, and we'll flesh this out through the show. But just the way this is all being set up, I think it would benefit him if he could announce victory tonight. If he could announce a deal. If he could announce not an escalation of the war, but an end to the war. That seems very Trumpian. Because he caught me last week when he was having his prime time address, and I was like, oh, well, he must be announcing a deal or the end of the war. Why else would he have a prime time address? Nope. I was wrong, as wrong could be on that prediction, so I'm kind of unsure of myself on this one as well. Ken in Arlington, you're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
They're not going to reach a deal. He's going to bomb them.
He's going to bomb them?
Well, I mean, if they're willing to slaughter 40,000 of their citizens for protesting, I mean, what's a couple more thousand for blocking power plants?
Well, I mean, the immediate pushback on that would be these aren't the guys that shot 40,000 protesters. Those guys have already been atomized. They've already been blown into 1,000 pieces. So maybe we have whoever's in charge is more reasonable. I don't know. I don't feel very strongly on my position on this, Ken.
The unicorn, he's in charge. I mean, he's probably still calling the shots. He's probably in the hospital somewhere, but.
And he is an Ayatollah. So if he was going to bomb them and he was already sure he was going to do it, why would he make a deadline? Why wouldn't he just do it already?
Because they're very proud people. Well, I mean, the leaders are very proud people. They're not going to say, okay, well, we're going to cave into Trump's demands. They're going to hold out as long as they possibly can. And if it means sacrificing their citizens, they're going to sacrifice their citizens. I mean, for 47 years, they've been killing and slaughtering thousands of people all over the world. So, I mean.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking about before the show, the human chains that are being stretched across these bridges. Does that make us the bad guy if we bomb them? And the couple of answers to that, Vance, that we were just tossing around is, number one, did they voluntarily go out there? Because if you are safe at home and your country is in a time of war and you go stand on some militarily important targets that are going to be hit, then that's on you. But the thought comes out, well, what if they're forced to go stand on the bridge? What, they force them by gunpoint? Well, if they're being forced, then we're not the bad guys. Whoever forced them onto the bridge is the one who got him killed.
We're not, but the hindsight 2020 is the backlash is, yes, we are going to be the bad guys, because like almost everybody in the United States and country and Europe and all that other stuff are saying, yeah, we want this war to end, but then we didn't like the way you ended it. And so we're going to get bad mouth for that.
All right. Well, good chat, Ken. I appreciate you calling in. This is Ken in Arlington, everybody. 800 288 9227. 800 288 9227. When we come back, Brett Baer relates a conversation on the phone he had with Donald Trump. And it kind of gives you hope that he wants a deal. I don't think he wants to bomb him. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but you'll hear about that conversation that happened this morning coming up next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, happy Power Plant Day on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. What are you doing later? You going to make a human chain around the nearest power plant? Because that's what some people are doing in Iran. Seems crazy again. But look, if you're just joining us, I can get you all caught up real quick. First, let's do this report here from Fox News about the Trump and Iran deadline here.
We have this quote here from the official saying U.S. hit dozens of military targets on Karg Island overnight. Airstrikes pounded Tehran today, and Iranian officials urged young people to form human chains to protect the power plants hours before the expiration of President Trump's deadline for the Islamic Republic. President Trump has extended previous deadlines, but suggested the one set for 8 p.m. in Washington was final, leaving Iranians on edge.
Okay, and then a lot of the reporting is revolving around this tweet that he did overnight. I know technically it's a Truth Social post, but we still call them tweets, okay?
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
All right, that's all it took. You're all caught up now. Now, let me give you some the new info here. This morning on Fox News, whatever the show is after the morning show, Bill Hemmer was on, and he was relaying some info that I heard for the first time this morning. Iran is actually releasing some hostages. And you're like, what year is this, 1980? No, this is now. And they're not American hostages. They're French hostages. But all the same, it looks like there's a little thawing of the ice.
This is the line that sticks out to me. If we get lucky, we will have something by the end of the day. And we're all hoping we get lucky, right? And in the last hour, it appears that the Iranians have released 2 French citizens who have been held in Iran for almost 4 years. And Macron is now saying that they are en route back to France. So you just look at this in terms of maybe there's diplomacy, maybe there's something happening.
All right, so they released, I don't know, Pepe Le Pew or something. What was he hostage for? Public affection? Something to that effect? Anyway, the other new info that you probably are going to hear for the first time from me is Bret Baier talking on that same conversation with Bill Hemmer on Fox News this morning. They were talking about some other positive developments, and he's going to start off talking about the Straits of Hormuz, but then he kind of throws in, oh yeah, and I just got off the phone with the president. Like, who just casually says that? But there's actually good info after that. So
there were more tankers that went through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday, 21. It's not the 135 that usually go through. But I just got off the phone with the president, and he called, and I said, if you were to put odds on it, what were the odds that this is going to end up being a negotiated deal? He said he wasn't going to put odds on it, but he said 8 p.m. is happening. That's what he said. He said, if we get to that point, there is going to be an attack like they have not seen. Now, he's sticking to that at this point. Now, he said if negotiations move forward today and there is something concrete, that could change. But at this hour, he didn't want to put odds on it, but he said it is moving forward with the plans that we have. That's a huge deal. And obviously, we all think that it's a thing that he's putting out there to say, don't do this. He says he doesn't want to do it, but he is, at this hour, sticking to it and saying it might be likely if they don't come to the table.
All right, with that, let's go to the phones. 800-288-9227 if you want to jump in on the conversation. This is Andy and Brady on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm a veteran. I think I figured out President Trump's the way he's speaking about things. There is going to be an attack with a whole bunch of like C-130s, but they're going to be loaded with the meanest things from East Texas, the backwoods chiggers. They're going to drop them on them people, and I can guarantee you in three days it's over.
Chiggers?
Yes.
Do city people know what chiggers are? Because I have a weird thing. You sound like a country person, Andy. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in the country, sleeping in a barn. I mean, not every night, but just sometimes. And my wife is a total city person, and I didn't realize how much of a disconnect there is in the life that we had growing up. So I had to explain to her what chiggers were a while back, and
That's God's meanest creation that you can't see.
oh, they're awful. They're absolutely awful. But no, I like.
Stop it real quick. Yeah.
She got real freaked out because one of our kids picked up lice at school, and she's like, "I never had bugs before." I'm like, "You never had ticks? You never had fleas?" And she's like, "No, have you?" Well, yeah, actually, I probably shouldn't be telling people that. I'm gross. I got it. So yeah, you want to drop off? You want to drop off chiggers, Andy? I mean, seriously, you're a military veteran. What would be your real answer here?
Selective targeting.
Okay.
It'd just be selective targeting. Yes.
So hard to argue against that because a lot of people have that. Their line in the sand is boots on the ground. I don't care if you're blowing up stuff on the other side of the planet. If you're not sending our sons and daughters out there, my level of concern is only going to go so high. So yeah, selective targeting. Kind of hard to argue with that. I mean, I wouldn't be bombing anybody in the first place, but if we're going to be doing it, thank you. That was Andy and Brady. If you want to be next, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. And thank you everyone who's sending in recommendations for Power Plant Day carols. Jason said a Power Plant Day theme song could be Blow My Fuse. I don't know that one, so I'll look it up on the break. We may have to come up with a whole playlist here, and this will be our bumper music for maybe this is Power Plant Day Eve, and the official Power Plant Day is tomorrow. We'll just do all Power Plant theme songs. Are you writing this down, Garrett? This is why you're not good, Garrett. This is why the long-haired guy's good, Garrett. Dang it. Get on it, Garrett. No, I was playing. All right, more on Power Plant Day coming up on the James Show. If you have any recommendations or ideas or thoughts and you don't have time to call in, send me an email, james@wbap.com. You can send me, most of these are coming through Facebook messages. I would love to hear from you and relay that to the rest of the James Show listening audience. The Outlaw Music Festival is coming to the Pavilion at Toyota Music Factory July 3rd. You know who all's in this one? Willie freaking Nelson is the headliner. Wilco, Sheryl Crow, Lucas Nelson, and they say and more, so I guess there's even more openers than that. If you want to try and win a pair of tickets from us, text the word outlaw to 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. If you already know you want to go and you don't want to bother with the contest, go to livenation.com. I'm James Parker. More on the Iran war next on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, happy Power Plant Day from the James Show. News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Open up a crazy can of worms today because we're talking about a really serious topic here. War is always a serious topic. People are getting blowed up. Things are getting blowed up. Lives are being ruined. Blood is exploding all over the mountains of Iran, probably right now. And there's the humanitarian question. There's the war crimes question. There's the human shields on bridges and around power plants. Do you still hit them? Do you not hit them? If you hit the guy on the bridge, are you the bad guy? Who's the bad guy? Is he the bad guy? Does he deserve it? Is there any such thing as a war crime? Are there going to be tribunals? Go to my email box. All power plant theme songs. It's just all. That's what y'all care about. This is what you could call in. We're at war here. And my response to the actual war is about 1/10 the response to the Power Plant Day playlist. And part of me is disappointed. Part of me just absolutely loves you. You are so adorable. I freaking love it. Let me do some serious stuff before we get back to the fun stuff. Let's see, on the phones. You guys are all comedians over there, aren't you? I'm not even going to bother with you. Give me a minute to catch up the new people, and then y'all can have fun on the phones. Trump was talking about the negotiatings yesterday, and he keeps stressing, like, we're not moving the deadline back. Either we're going to have the deal or there's going to be bombs. We're going to wipe a civilization off the map.
They're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them. We're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants.
And he says, we're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age. I don't think they'll be in the Stone Age. They'll probably be just in like the 1800s or so. But you realize to bomb someone back to the Stone Age, they would have to lose all knowledge of metalworking and agriculture. So if you want to be a smart aleck, you can start there. But this is a serious business. Don't expect the callers to be very serious, though. I made the mistake of asking for power plant theme songs. First, my initial winner in the clubhouse right now is Snap the Power. This one. Because it says I got the power. I got the power. That's all I got. I don't know. Am I about to get a bunch of power plant songs on the phone? Yeah. Does anybody have serious comments to make about people dying? Lou and Alice, you're next up on News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hey, hey, good to talk with you. I'm asked to not ask how you're doing, so I don't know how you're doing. The Chigger comment was actually genius in its own way. But on a serious note, the one is ideology. So when you're talking about destroying a civilization, ideology cannot be destroyed. Otherwise, we would not have AOC in Congress for Marxists, or we wouldn't have KKK in the U.S. But that's the genius of the American constitutional republic, is the more idiots talk, the more you need to encourage them to talk and just depend on the God-given rights of individuals and their rational thinking. Carg Island, the 1987-88 quote, I still think stands. The other thing that Trump has done is it misdirected brilliantly for in many ways. So power plant bridges days are great, and he can obviously change deadlines on different things. But the 15 point that he said is non-negotiable. Again, art of the deal, ask high, accept low. If you get anything, leave your options on the table. So one, the uranium is out, meaning I don't know how it's going to do. It's like, give us the frickin' uranium. If we don't, Delta Force, we're going to go into your country in small areas. They've been flying planes over the U.S. looking for uranium. We know where it's at, I believe. And we will take over small parts of your country to get those 9 tons, 10 tons of uranium.
Yeah, well, you know what? You nailed that, because if we get the uranium out of there, Donald Trump can declare victory, and we can pull out, and no one can have any complaints. Like, was it worth it? Well, we got the uranium. So
Yeah.
the one
That's one. The second is financial, which is harder. Again, they're related. They're 2 or 3 points, but the other one is financial. If these MFers still have oil, they're going to continue to fund people all over. I mean, for them, death is glory, and that's their 6th, 7th century ideology. Again, you can't get rid of it, but he's already said, I don't know that we might not have another Democratic president in 2.5 years. And I'm not
Right.
going to let it. I'm like Warren Buffett. He's like, I don't, the hard part's not building the best business in the world. It's knowing somebody else is going to pick it up after you. And Trump is not, he's not an idiot for everything that people say. He's like, the next president might be a Democrat. I'm not going to leave it in the hands of the next president. Forget the Congress next year. I'm not going to let the next president screw over my kids and grandkids or the country. I'm not going to leave another 47 years from the 47 years that I've dealt with. And so that's where Carg Island, you take that over, you basically have Iran dying. You might get into the 60 to 90 days War Powers Act, which is unconstitutional and just has not been tried in front of the Supreme
Right.
Court. And it's like far be it from Trump to want to have something go before the Supreme Court and say it's illegal. I know it, you know it. Let's try it. But he could take Carg Island, meaning he, the U.S., and give the money and totally reshape, destroy the North American Treaty Organization, all puns intended for New York Times genius, and then redevelop the entire Middle East for the countries that are like, look, we just want to. We're Muslim. We think there's a modern version of Muslim. There's is peace. Not all Muslims think alike. Not all Muslims want to kill everybody else on the face of the earth. But we don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And so the third and final thing is the regime change, which I don't know if that's part of this or not. I mean, but there's not going to be the U.S. playing, the London policeman with a billy club out there trying to patrol Iran while they want to kill everybody and their brother and sister under the sun and think it's a virtue. So take Carg Island, maybe not. Use the money, refund, reshape entirely. It still takes some time. The Middle East, there's no uranium. It's not going to be there. However that happens, it's just not going to be there.
No, you got me excited about us picking it up. Lou, you're a great caller. I just got to run. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right. More callers on the Iran situation coming up next. Some of these are going to be for power plant theme songs, but some of us is going to be some very serious deadline happening at 7:00 our time tonight. Pakistan has announced to the world that they've reached out to Trump with a deal to extend the deadline. Trump has announced that he's been made aware of the deal. He's reviewing it and hasn't answered yet. So is there going to be an extension? We'll probably get that answer in just a few minutes. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Happy Power Plant Day. We are less than 4 hours from the deadline to where Donald Trump said we may have a civilization wiped off the planet. And I love it when this is the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP, your home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. But I love making the adorable, innocent, sweet-looking news anchors read these awful tweets. And it's not that they're awful, like, oh, this is so offensive to my delicate ears. This is really serious, abrasive, harsh stuff, and it comes from such a cute voice. But to get the civilization will die tonight tweet, it's better than me reading it.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world, 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
So that's one. The other tweet was from 2 days ago, talking about the Straits of Hormuz. On a similar vein here.
Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the expletive strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump.
Now, Iran is calling for human chains around power plants, and Fox News is showing some people that are lined up on a bridge. Is this now? Is this today? Well, they must be making them do this at gunpoint, because who on earth would want to go stand on a bridge in Iran? Well, I guess you got about 3.5 hours of bridge safety left. But what do you think is going to happen? Are we going to really knock all these bridges out? Or is Donald Trump going to come on at 7 o'clock and say, ta-da, we have a deal. War's over. Everything's great. I don't know. And I'm tired of making predictions because I keep getting them wrong. 800-288-9227. This is Good James in Waco. You're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hey, James, I'll just say at first that I'm old enough to remember when the hostages were taken and all of the terrorist things that the Iranian regime has been doing ever since.
Yep.
So I'm good with this. But for a song suggestion, the obvious one is Pat Travers, Boom, Boom, Out Go the Lights.
Pat Travers. So this is a little bit before my time. Also a Canadian. Was this big here, or are you from Canada?
No, it's big here.
I've never even heard of this dude. All right, let's try this one.
We're gonna do a little party tune for you here. This is an old rhythm and blues boogie woogie number called Boom Boom Out Go the Lights. All right. Hey. Okay, now there's an opportunity.
All right, James, I've heard enough. I'll allow it. That is a good one. And it kind of, I don't know how you get a better title than that. Boom, boom, out go the lights. That might be Iran's theme song right now. Good job. Thanks for, I'd never heard of that before. You taught me something good, James in Waco. Thank you. Paul and Prosper, you're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hi, James. I think militarily there's a much more valuable target that we should be going after. Unfortunately, the political consequences would be even greater than hitting the bridges and power plants.
Are you saying we need to bomb Mecca and Medina? Is that where this is going?
No. I think we should be hitting the IRGC barracks. That's where the power is that oppresses the people of Iran. The Israelis.
Paul, I hate to interrupt you. I assume that got blown up in the first 24 hours.
Oh, the barracks?
Yeah.
I've heard all the command and control, the electronics, the headquarters, but I've not heard that anyone's gone after the rank and file of the IRGC.
Okay. I don't know, but you're right. If they haven't hit that already, of course they should get on that one. Get on that one soon. I would think. Yeah. I have no military experience. I've played Call of Duty. That's about it. And I would have done that in the first day.
Yeah, I've heard nothing about it. Again, hitting barracks and that's mass destruction of people. If
military combatants, no one cares about those.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm an old soldier. I think that's where the power is. That's where we should be going if we haven't already. The bridges and power plants. If the regime is going to change,
they're going to need that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a functioning Iranian partner rather than a Stone Age civilization trying to put together the pieces again.
Yeah, okay, I hear you. Paul and Prosper, another good call. You guys are on a roll today. Thank you, Paul. Steve says that he's a Marine. He says, this is a bait and switch. This is an email to James at WBAP.com. He said, this is a bait and switch. They're going to take the island, 10,000 Marines off the coast, already softening up the island, full-scale amphibious assault. Take care, James. Yeah, I guess that's where it would start. I mean, you have that island. You have pretty much their entire economy. So if we're going to take the island, would we need to bomb the power plants and bridges and stuff? I mean, I don't know. We might. The rest of my emails pretty much just songs here. I know. Another Mike sent in the Gap Band. You dropped a bomb on me. Little thing you need to know about your humble radio host here. Freaking love the Gap Band. I went through a funk phase about 5 years ago. Really, it was 10 years ago, and it lasted for 5 years. Man, I was down with all that. Funk was awesome. How was this only popular for like 5 years? See, because black people were cool during disco. They're like, we'll do funk. We'll let you crazy white people do disco, which we're all embarrassed of now, rightfully so. And they were cranking out funk. And that, I don't know, man. Like, it started with Cameo, and then it got to the Gap Band and Function, and I was the Brothers Johnson. I was all over that. That was good. So yeah, Gap Band dropped the bomb on me. And I guess to stop you people from sending me more emails, let me go through some of these other ones that I've gotten. I'm sorry. Who told me this? This was on Facebook, wasn't it? Some guy told me about a Kicks song from the 80s, Blow My Fuse. Who is that? No, is it Corb? No. Jason. Yeah, Jason told me about this one. I had never heard of this song. I'm not so sure about Kicks to begin with. It's hair metal. Is there like 18 hair metal bands that just have the same lead singer? They're all copying each other. They're all like halfway to AC/DC. Blow my fuse. How does it work? I know, they all sound the same. The guy from Cinderella sounds like the guy from Kicks, sounds like the guy from AC/DC, kind of sounds like the guy from Great White, who sounds like the guy from Whitesnake, who sounds like the guy from Shut Up! Cut your hair, and your bangs are questionable. Look, I was alive in the 80s because I was a little kid, so I didn't really know what was going on. But I can tell in hindsight what was going on. You people were on drugs, or at least all the musicians in the 80s. A lot of drugs. All right, more on Power Plant Day. We have a deadline coming up in 2.5 or 3.5 hours. Pakistan's trying to mediate a ceasefire ahead of the deadline, and I'll get you all caught up on that next. News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, homeowners, James Parker here for Blue Ribbon Roofing. Blue Ribbon Roofing is who you call when you have any doubts whatsoever about your roof. If there's a storm that blows through and you're missing one shingle, it may not look like much, it may be barely noticeable, but your roof isn't there for cosmetic purposes. That one shingle could start the leak that drains into your drywall, that gives you black mold, that sparks, that knocks out your power or ruins some other appliances, and then instead of just getting it fixed immediately, now you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars of repairs that could have been completely avoided. So if you have any doubt, call John over at Blue Ribbon Roofing. He'll come over with his ladder. He'll slap it up on your house. He'll go check it out and let you know if you're okay. And he's not going to invent something to do. When he got on my roof, he came down in about 10 minutes and he's like, hey, I got good news. Your roof's great. I was like, it better be. It's only like 3 years old. He's like, I can tell. So there's no scam there. This is just a family business that, you do business right. You don't have to scam anybody. And they've been here for 30 years. They're going to be here for 30 more. And so if you're looking for someone to take care of your roof, you're going to have to trust somebody. Trust Blue Ribbon Roofing. Go to blueribbondfw.com. Negotiations are frantically happening, according to reports. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP, and this is all about power plant day for Iran. The deadline, 8 o'clock Eastern time, that'd be 7 o'clock real time, Texas time. And I'm not so sure that there's going to be an extension on this one. Now, Pakistan is being very public today. Their Prime Minister Sharif is actually tweeting stuff, or Xing stuff. I'm calling it tweet. Can we stick with that? I still call it Wet and Wild, so I'm going to call it tweeting for until further notice. But Pakistan's out there floating the idea of a 2-week Iran ceasefire in order to head off power plants exploding. This seems like a terrible deal, but Trump actually hasn't officially responded to this yet. He said he's been made aware of the deal and he will answer it soon. Which soon, dude, you got like 2 hours left, 3 hours left. The proposal from Pakistan is, say, extend the deadline for 2 weeks. There will be no bombing of the power plants and bridges and whatnot, but the Straits of Hormuz will be open for that 2 weeks. So Iran open the straits. America stop bombing. Each side gets something that they want. I don't think Trump will take that deal. Because in 2 weeks, what's going to be different? What are we doing? We're giving them a chance to hide their uranium further or move it so it doesn't get discovered again? No, I don't like that at all. I don't think Trump will either. Israel is already taken to the skies and started some bombings today. Reports are that earlier today, they were hitting bridges and rail infrastructure across Iran. So apparently they're not waiting for the 7 o'clock deadline. Also, I've been getting a lot of feedback here on Power Plant Day carols. I feel that this is if this is going to be a new holiday for us, we should have the carols to go with it. We have Christmas songs. We have Halloween songs. Why not power plant songs? This is Cleo in Plano. You're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Cleo.
Hey, one thing that kind of surprised me is I talked to a few friends of mine who are Iranian, and they're like really pro-Republican, but now they're actually afraid because they still have friends and family, large amounts of family that lives there. So now they're kind of falling off of Team Red, and it's really making me nervous. So I hope we don't lose that group of people over this.
Man, there were so many Iranians at CPAC, and I got to imagine
that's what I'm talking about. And they're not happy about this because they literally still have family that live there. It's one thing to unseat the other government and stuff, but everyone else is like power plants and this other stuff. You could throw people in the Stone Ages. They're not down with that. They're kind of horrified.
Yeah, there's no good way out of this, though. Can they even get in contact with their family and just say, listen, things will be cool. Just go stock up on water, stay off bridges for a minute, and stay away from power plants. Can we sneak them a message somehow?
They do talk to their family, but I don't think that's the point. They're afraid that the way he's talking that, they've thrown out words like he's a bully. He's not what we thought he was. We thought the Republicans scared. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So I've been talking people down off the ledge all day, and so I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah, that's not your job. You don't have to talk them off the ledge.
Well, I do have to talk them off the ledge because I don't want them to go to Team Blue. I'd rather them to stay on Team Red, so I do.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that gigantic Iranian vote?
I do not.
Did you have a power plant song? Garrett put in the description over here. You had a power plant song?
No, I don't have a power plant song. Not really.
Good.
There's some old ones you could press into service, but I didn't think of anything new.
Good. All right, because I have a bunch I need to roll through here. Thank you. That's Cleo in Plano calling in. Yeah, a good one. Someone had mentioned earlier Glenn Campbell's Wichita lineman. I don't think I've ever heard this before.
I am a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload.
Oh my God, can we bomb this? Good Lord. No wonder our grandparents are such dorks. That's what y'all listened to growing up? Explains a lot. Jeff in Terrell, you're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP.
2 points, and this is even older than that one. I'm thinking Willie Nelson, the party's over. Turn out the lights.
Turn out the lights. Okay, but that's not a power plant or electricity theme song. Turn out the lights. You know what? That passes. I'll allow it.
And the caller, one or two back, worried about Iranians that still have family and friends over there. Trump's not going to do that. I think he's going to come out again and say, go along the lines of, we've been talking to the right Iranians. When he uses that psychology on them, I mean, I'm following a lot of accounts on X that are, posting from there, and the entire Republican Guard is in disarray because they don't know who they can trust and who they can't.
Yeah,
and Trump's playing. He's playing the psychological game on them. He's not going to, they're going to hit something. We're going to hit something tonight, but it's not going to be bridges with protesters on them, paid protesters or threatened protesters. That's my take. He plays the psychological game on his adversaries better than anyone I've ever seen, and I'm pushing 70.
Jeff, I hope you're right, but I've stopped making real hard and fast predictions on this scenario because I've been wrong a couple times, including last week. I thought his announcement in prime time last week was he's going to announce that he got a deal or the end of the war, and he didn't either one of those. So he already made me look like a fool. So I'm not even trying. I'm just going to wait till 7 o'clock and see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I think we'll be good. Thank you.
Thank you. There's Jeff and Terrell. I think this is kind of growing on me now. All right. No, it's not. I still hate it. Still hate it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work like that. All right. Coming up next on the James Show, we're going to have retired U.S. Navy SEAL back on, Mike Sarai from Overwatch. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Power plant day over in Iran, or no more power plant day. They were talking about this on Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins as well. There's three funny guys that are on before the James Show from 11 to 2. Check them out when you get a chance. Returning to the James Show is my next guest, a retired Navy SEAL, Mike Sarai, is coming back on from Overwatch. What's up, Navy SEAL? Is it Sarai, Sorelli? Am I saying it wrong? Because Garrett's correcting me. I'll take it. And so that means Garrett was correct as well. We were both correct. Being a Navy SEAL, have you killed anybody today? Just wanted to start off light because it's a very serious subject today. Oh, don't ruin the fantasy. We like to think you probably killed a guy with your pinky right before you made the phone call. So, Mike, what I know you don't know, but what does your gut tell you? Are we going to roll up on this deadline at 7 p.m. and then bomb Iran back into the Stone Age? So do we really have to bomb them to get their power to go out? Because I seem to recall just a couple months ago when we went in and got Maduro in Venezuela, we turned the power off there and we did it remotely. I assumed we hacked them. So what's to keep Iran together if all of their infrastructure falls apart? They have warring sections. You know, are the Kurds going to try and split off and make a Kurdistan? Are some of the other ethnic minorities going to try and split off and make their own thing? Well, have we ever bombed the country back into the Stone Age? I don't know how back we would have to go, or if we have any precedent for this, because I am under the impression that if the power went out here, like in the United States, if we lost like our water utility and our power at the same time with no hope of it coming back on, the streets would be flowing with blood within a week. Well, like where I'm sitting now in Dallas, if we had our utilities knocked out, how would all these people? How would 8 million people? How would we get clean water? We don't have access. We'd all be dying of diarrhea before May. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Unicorn farts. Yes, that's all very. All right, take 30 seconds to talk about the awesomeness of Overwatch. Fantastic. I appreciate your insights. Former Navy SEAL, now from Overwatch, Mike Sorelli, either one. Thank you, sir. All right, coming up next on the James Show, we have some updates on the impending negotiations and the looming deadline for 7 o'clock tonight for Power Plant Day in Iran. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. All right, we're T-minus 3 hours from the big Trump deadline on Iran. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Welcome back to the big show. Things seem to be in motion already. We have reports of B-52 bombers taking off from the UK just a little under 2 hours ago. Which, if you do the math on the back of the cocktail napkin, they should be getting there in time to drop their bombs right about 7 o'clock our time. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. I'm also sure that right now, whatever negotiations are being had, Trump's like, "Hey, did you see the headline there? The bombers that took off from London? Yeah. If they flew at 300 miles an hour, their average cruising speed, they're going to get there at about 7:01. They'll be over your airspace. Yes, the B-52s are coming. They're not the fun ones, not the one with the hot redhead. They're not going to sing Rock Lobster. No, these are the not fun B-52s. So, by the way, I saw the B-52s at the Taste at Addison. They were awesome. So this is what we're looking at. We have the deadline that's coming up our time. Everyone's saying 8 o'clock, but for some reason they speak in they speak in Eastern time zone, and the real time Texas time 7 o'clock. So man, the TVs are all over this. MSNBC is really focusing in on the Iranian civilization will die tonight, and Democrats are threatening to charge Trump with war crimes, and Kamala Harris is quoted as saying Trump is threatening to commit war crimes. All right, I got it. There's no point even talking to if you know everything that this guy does, they're going to gripe about. There's no point in putting a microphone in front of their face. You're not going to get a good faith debate on the actual topics at hand. Hell, I'm having a hard enough time with the James Show listeners. I'm getting anger from the Glenn Campbell community because I said I didn't like Wichita linemen. People, focus. Like, here's Rick. Yeah, I'm not reading all that, Rick. Make a shorter email. Michael in Capel. You're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Michael.
Perfect. Number one, I'm a war historian. My specialty is World War II, but you don't have to be an expert to understand what I'm about to say.
Okay.
If number one, you've never won a war from the air, okay? Never, ever won a war from the air. Somebody's going to have to go in there and take over.
Well, hang on, historian.
Yeah.
We didn't beat Japan from the air? Did we have to put boots on the ground in Japan?
We put boots on the ground all over Japanese territory. The Ryukyu Islands, Okinawa, Saipan, Iwo Jima. We just didn't land on their main island.
Okay, so but
Japanese territory.
So from your historian point of view, that doesn't count as winning from the air?
No, it doesn't count as winning from the air.
Fair enough.
We destroyed Japan. We destroyed Japan's whole thing. They made huge mistakes, but that's not it.
Okay.
The more important thing I want to say is this. If we bomb their power plants, and like you were talking about yesterday, and the people know there's no hope of us getting power for weeks or months or maybe years, if we bomb their oil infrastructure, if we bomb their bridges, if we bomb their desalination plants, all we're going to do is make 91 million enemies of the United States who are going to beg the mullahs to come back and build nuclear weapons to get rid of us. That's all we're going to do. The regime is not going to leave if we bomb all their power plants. They don't care if they have power plants. They don't care about their people one little tiny bit. So bombing their power plants isn't going to harm whoever happens to be in charge. They don't care. They're putting women around all these places now to get them killed. That's what they really care. That's how much they care about their people. You're going to have 91 million people that want us dead, and it's going to be another enemy for centuries. These people have long memories. They hate forever. Okay.
So do you think this is all a bluff, a negotiating bargaining chip?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a bluff or not. I don't know if I like Donald Trump. I voted for him several times. I don't know if he thinks these things through enough. I don't think he's a businessman. He wants things done right now, right then and now. I don't think he sits down and has deep thoughts about these things.
Well, I feel you, because the concern becomes if we do bomb the power plants and there's a whole lot of human suffering that could have otherwise been avoided. Is the rest of the world going to think that we're the good guys or the bad guys?
The rest of the world hates Donald Trump anyway, so it doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah,
and a lot of the rest of the world hates us. I talk to people all over the world, and I can tell you that we are not the flavor of the day in a lot of places. Look at all of our NATO allies that said, "Oh, you can't even fly over our countries." What I would like to tell them is, you know what, Spain, you know what, Germany, you know what, United Kingdom, you know what, all you people, if Russia comes knocking on your door, don't call us.
Yeah,
that would just give Russia a green light to do whatever they wanted. So I hope nobody actually says that, but me.
Yeah, well, I like to delineate between these other countries, people, and their government. All of their governments do not like us because, you know, if we are clearly, I don't want to say superior to them because that sounds sort of racial, but clearly we've been more successful and prosperous than they have, and so you know there's a tinge of jealousy. But the people of Mexico or France or all these other countries around the world, they seem to like us quite a bit. They wear our clothes, they watch our movies, they listen to our music.
I've lost friends over this.
Dude, yeah, I probably lost more American friends over Trump.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. I've lost friends just over Trump. Nothing else, just because they hate Trump and they just don't want to be in contact with me because they know I supported him. I says, I don't support all the stuff this guy does, but that's it. They don't care. You know, it's really, really sad.
Okay, well, war historian Michael Incapel, have we ever bombed a country into the Stone Age like Trump's threatening to do now?
No. Well, you know, maybe Germany.
Kind of Germany, World War II?
We did a lot of damage in Germany, a lot of damage. Hamburg had a firestorm. Dresden had a firestorm. Berlin didn't have a firestorm, but they were pretty much bombed to rubble. They were eating dead horses in the streets. I mean,
gross.
You know, it's hard to bomb a huge industrial country into the Stone Age, but if we took out all their power plants, and I know he says they're going to burn and they'll never come back to life. Yeah, of course they will. They'll just rebuild them. It'll take 10, 15 years to do it. But of course they'll come back.
Well, Michael Incapel, don't be a stranger. I like talking to historians, sir.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, coming up next, David Hamilton. He's from the National Security and Economic Center at UNT. He's actually bringing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to town this weekend for one of his events. David Hamilton's coming up next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. Are you living in pain, just dealing with it because you think, well, I'm just getting older, that's what happens? It doesn't have to be like that. James Parker here for QC Kinetics. You may have not even had like an injury that you noticed. It may have just been over time, the constant wear and tear of daily living. Maybe you have a job that requires a little bit of manual labor. Maybe you've been really active. Maybe you're a jogger. Maybe you play a lot of basketball. Maybe there's not one thing that puts you in pain. It was just a slow progression over time, but you don't have to accept it. Try QC Kinetics. You don't have to grow old in pain. Getting older doesn't mean you have to be in pain. Go to QC Kinetics. The consultation doesn't cost you anything. They'll check you out, let you know if they can help you out. And it could be the difference between your new pain-free future or just going on. Just be miserable. Don't listen to me. Just be miserable the rest of your life. Run around, sit funny in chairs because your back hurts, walk around with the limp like some kind of weird pirate guy. Don't listen to me. Just be in pain. I'm kidding. Call QC Kinetics. There's no downside here. Either you get fixed or they give you a high five and tell you good luck. But it starts with you making the phone call. 972-972-8610. 972-972-8610. All right, we're coming up on the deadline for Power Plant Day. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. My next guest, David Hamilton from the National Security Economic Center at UNT. I know we usually talk about your events at the end, but I think it would be sort of a credibility establishing exercise on a day like today. You're bringing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to town this weekend. Is he not canceling because of Power Plant Day? Fantastic. Is there still a wave that people listening just in the general public can go, or is it already sold out? Well, that's cool. How do you know him? Did y'all go to college together? Did y'all sit next to each other at Sonic one day? How'd that happen? Good deal. All right, now let's talk about Power Plant Day. The concern about power plants going out, I think a lot of people are not taking this as serious as they should, because I make the case if the power was knocked out here, because we're knocking out power plants, bridges, railways, desalination plants, so they could lose their electricity and water. And in a major metropolitan area, that has to be just absolutely catastrophic. Now, out where I live in the country in Bug Tussle, if I want clean water, I can walk out to the nearest creek, and then boil it or whatever. But like in Dallas, what would 8 million people do if they can't flush the toilet or turn on the faucet or turn on a light? It would be a humanitarian disaster, David. Right. A little chlorine never hurt. Well, and that was the absolute opposite end of the spectrum of that was when we bombed Afghanistan back in the Stone Age. We couldn't tell the difference. Yeah, well, it's amazing these two countries are next to each other, how different they are. Because, especially in pictures from the 70s in Iran, they look like a westernized first world country. If you look at a picture of Afghanistan today, it still looks like the Old Testament. If there wasn't like a stack of burning tires in the parking lot in the background, it would still look like the book of Jonah. Bikini salesman. Understandable. Now, David Hamilton, I had a caller make the case a couple segments ago that if we do bomb them back in the Stone Ages, we take out all their water and electricity, what we're going to do is galvanize 90 million Iranians against us. Interesting stuff. Do you think we're actually going to do it? Like, what happens at 7:00 tonight, David? Are you talking about his Egyptian campaign? Oh, wow. I had a lapse in my Napoleon knowledge. All right, David Hamilton, I really feel like this is just a negotiating tactic, and he's going to announce some deal by 7 o'clock. But, I mean, the clock's ticking. Am I just a little too optimistic there? Well, the thing that makes me feel so optimistic is I have one of my TVs on M Snow in here. It used to be MSNBC, and now they call it M Snow. And they just look so beat up and defeated. Things must be pretty bright outside. All right, David Hamilton, one more time. If the guy listening wants to see the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff this weekend, how does he make it happen? Thank you very much, David Hamilton. Appreciate it, sir. Coming up next on the James Show, Pakistan's trying to mediate an extension on the deadline. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll explain next on News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Are things about to blow up in Iran? I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. We have the deadline set for 7 o'clock local time, real time, tonight. And we're about to find out if this is a bluff, if this is a negotiating tactic. You just heard on the news update there that people in contact with Trump today say that he's in negotiations right now. So we'll see. I really hope it doesn't come down to this. I really hope there's a deal. I think the missions have been largely accomplished. The objectives, minimize their ability to shoot missiles, minimize their ability to block the Straits of Hormuz in their nuclear program. Well, if we get the Straits of Hormuz opened up, then the only question becomes, what's the situation of their nuclear program? Well, it can't be as strong and robust as it was just a month ago, but does that mean it's gone forever? How do you make something be gone forever? How do you make a body of knowledge fenced off from a geographic area? You can't really. So this is a tough situation. I mean, not for you and me. We're not the ones that are about to lose our water and power overnight tonight. This is really tough for the Iranians. And it's going to be just awful to watch if we have to turn on our TV and for the next few weeks, months, you see Iranians living a very, very harsh, abrasive, just a brutal existence. Do you realize how bad it would be around here if we lost electricity and water for a month, not knowing if or when it would come back on? So that's huge. I really appreciate, though, the constant communication this guy has had. Do you remember what the last guy was like? Do you even remember what it was like having President Biden? The dude didn't have a press conference for over a year. He wouldn't come out, and Donald Trump talks too much. We have the opposite problem. He stops and talks right next to a jet engine. It's just like, and they're asking like important questions, and he's answering some of the most important questions in the world. And he has like 6 press availabilities in one day where he just asks unscripted, open questions from hostile sources constantly over and over and over. Isn't that kind of nice? And then also, he's writing his own tweets because it's really, if you just looked at the tweets, you would know what's going on. And I can put together the storyline in 2 tweets. There was the one 2 days ago that started the whole Power Plant Day holiday season. And I like it when an anchor reads them because it sounds nice.
Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the expletive straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump.
I think my favorite part of that was the praise be to Allah, because is he just taking a dig? Is he trying to, show an olive branch to the Iranian audience that is reading the tweet? I don't know. And then the overnight tweet from last night is what MSNBC. I think this is why their face is so sour. I mean, they look like when you're trapped in an elevator and someone, floats an air biscuit and you can't gripe because you're in a professional setting with a bunch of strangers anyway, and you just have to sniff it up. That's what they look like on MSNBC right now. This was the other tweet.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world, 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
Also today, in honor of Power Plant Day, I've been getting a ton of recommendations on what would count as Power Plant Day carols. We have Christmas carols, we have Halloween songs. Why not for Power Plant Day? Now, I started off with I Got the Power. Turn up the treble. Oh, man, this is so 8th grade. Maybe 9th grade, I don't remember that well. Yeah, but I Got the Power. That's what came first to my head. I've been absolutely swamped with recommendations, and some of them aren't that bad. Now, this Kick song, Blow My Fuse, this is terrible. This is terrible. This This is that 80s hair metal where they all sound the same. They all have the same hair. They all have the same outfits. They have the same wardrobe. They have the same singing voice. They play the same chords. Just, 80s hair metal. Just the worst. Isn't it, Tasha? I know she hates it too. No, she doesn't. Glenn Campbell, Wichita lineman. I'm not going to say anything bad about that because apparently I have the Glenn Campbell fan club listening and I got some angry emails. I got another good one. I should have thought of this one. Electric Avenue. Yeah, you play this in Iran after Power Plant Day, they'll just cry because it'll be a beautiful memory of what it was like to have electricity. You know, one thing, you're never really out of electricity even when the power goes out. You know, you can just jump in your car and start it and charge your phone there. Get air conditioning there. Probably watch something on your phone there as long as the cell service is up. Another good one that it's not an obvious one, but it's a good enough one that it would pass, and I'm ashamed I didn't think of it myself. Shock the Monkey. I have to watch it with this, though, because if someone's just flipping through, they might think this is like a racist song. They'll be like, oh, there goes that James show again. I knew they were Nazis. And it's okay. Peter Gabriel's white, so he can say that. Pat Travers Band, Boom Boom, Go the Lights. Also questionable bangs, but that may be the perfect song. That definitely fits as a Power Plant Day carol. I also am including Gap Band, You Dropped the Bomb on Me. While it's not electricity specific, this really does fit into almost any sortie action. And in their video, actually, they have airplanes dropping bombs. So there you go. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Looks like we're going to take on a couple of smart mouth callers, and I'll get you the very last updates I can on the negotiations for Power Plant Day between Iran, Trump, and for some reason now Pakistan is the mediator. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Iran has about 2 hours of power left. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Donnie says they should play Turn Out the Lights by Teddy Pendergrass. Dang it. Didn't think of that one either. Excellent recommendation, Donnie. So Donald Trump sounds serious. Is this a negotiating tactic? If he does bomb Iran back in the Stone Age, do you think it's going to make more enemies than friends? If he does bomb people back in the Stone Age, is he going to lose some support here? There was a guy that was commenting over here on the video live stream. He's listening on Twitch or something. He says he's in Qatar, and from his understanding, everyone is turning against Trump, even his biggest supporters. No, I mean, not over here. Some of his previous supporters don't like this war effort. Doesn't mean any of them have gone so far as to say, oh, I regret voting for him, or Kamala would have been better. I haven't heard anyone say that, because a lot of people are so deranged in their hatred of Trump that they just crave any criticism of him. They just run to it. And I think a lot of people misunderstand when a Matt Walsh or a Tucker Carlson or some of these other people that are anti-war criticize Trump for, doing what he's doing in Iran. It doesn't mean that they're off the boat, they're off the plantation, or they're going to vote differently in the future. No, don't worry. Even if Trump has flaws, you guys are still worse. Jim in Carrollton, you're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Hey, James. I was sitting here thinking about what you were saying about the power being out in Iran. And it occurred to me that all these people that say there was no existential threat, that they didn't have a bomb yet, that what were they going to do to us? Well, it would take a medium load nuclear weapon on a medium range missile fired off the coast of either coast, actually, somewhere over the United States at about 320 to 350 miles up, to put out an EMP pulse that would put the United States back to the 1800s, most of the United States, except for hardened military stuff. And when you said you'd go out to your car and charge your phone, no, because your car wouldn't work. Trucks wouldn't work. Trains wouldn't work. Power plants wouldn't work. So we would be without power and water in about 3 or 4 days. And then the estimates are within 90 days, 100 and plus million people would die from lack of food, lack of water, or lack of medical. So what you're talking about in Iran would be multiple over here if they'd have been allowed to even get a small nuclear weapon. And there was a story just the other day, they found some cargo ships that they had that actually had containers on them that had movable roofs and movable sides. In other words, they were like Q ships that they were building, making them look like container ships. So move that up off the East Coast, fire a medium-range missile out of there with a small nuclear weapon on it, and you destroy huge infrastructure in the United States. Exact same thing you're talking about over there, but even worse. An EMP pulse would be even worse.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Has anybody ever done an EMP pulse? I mean, I learned about this on that documentary Ocean's 11, and that was kind of my first introduction to it. But has this ever actually been done?
Yeah, they found out when they were doing nuclear testing. The weapon goes off at a high enough altitude that you don't get any blast damage or radiation damage, but the pulse it put out is enough to destroy electronics. Yeah, they found it during the initial testing of the nuclear weapons.
Yeah, okay. So
nobody's used it, but yeah, it's there. And these guys are fanatics enough that they don't care if we, glass Tehran. They don't care.
Why didn't they do that a month ago?
Because they don't have the weapon.
Okay, so
they're getting close, but they don't have the weapon.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jim and Carrollton. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Well, I'm skeptical because Pakistan has the weapon and they haven't done, the EMP or the nuclear EMP. North Korea supposedly has the nuclear material to do this and they haven't done it. And we've been told we got to stop nuclear proliferation because if bad guys get it, they're going to do crazy things like EMPs. Well, bad guys keep getting these weapons and we don't see the negative consequences. That's why I'm skeptical. Jim, I wasn't dismissing your argument because everything you said makes sense. Just want to explain myself because you sounded disappointed at the end there. Thank you, Jim. George in Plano, you're last up on the James Show. What's up?
Yeah, James, I hope I'm not one of those smart aleck callers. You're my favorite guy on the radio right now.
Well, starting off bad. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I agree with you. Everything on DART, by the way. I read a story about 6 months ago. As you and I both know, the terrorist mafia regimes aren't very good at running a municipality. And I read a story 6 months ago that they mismanaged the water supply in Iran so bad that everybody was going to have to leave Tehran, that Tehran was actually sinking into the ground. I don't know if anybody caught that, but when it comes to water, they were going to be out of it pretty soon from what I read.
Well, that's wild. I hadn't heard that. Well, maybe we don't need to hit their desalinization plants. Just let nature run its course. George?
Yeah, they mismanaged the water supply so badly that people were going to have to leave.
I got you. Listen, I only have like a minute left. The deadline's in 2 hours. Is there going to be a deal or is there going to be bombs?
Carg Island will take it. We're kind of moving in that direction, but no, the Iranian people have apparently been too cool to just completely put them in the dark. I don't think we'll do that.
All right, there you go. Nice final prediction from George in Plano, finishing strong. And you weren't a smart alecky annoying caller. Thank you. The Black Crowes Southern Hospitality Tour is coming to Dos Equis Pavilion August 9th. Get tickets and information at livenation.com. Stick around. Coming up next, Mark Levin. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP.